got some breaking news right now, folks. A retired Columbus, Georgia police officer is one of two victims confirmed dead after a helicopter crash in Alabama. 53-year-old David Hall and another passenger were on board the Georgia law enforcement chopper when it went down in Lake Mitchell on Friday. Hall, a 28-year veteran, was a pilot at the time. Investigators believe that chopper actually slammed into a power line before it crashed into the water. Also happening right now, Atlanta police are investigating a shooting outside a food mart on Metropolitan Parkway. Police say the victim is a woman in her mid-30s. She was taken to Grady Hospital with a gunshot wound to the side. So far, no one has been arrested. With Georgia's wild ride in the governor's race has finally come to an end, right? But the politicking is not over just yet. Jennifer Bellamy has the top 3 things you need to know. Jay Bell?
Yeah, we've been through a lot lately, Ron, but here's number 1. The election may be over, but we've still got a runoff to tend to. The race to become Secretary of State wages on between Republican Brad Raffensperger and Democrat John Barrow. There's also a District 3 Public Service Commission seat. Voting is on December 4th. Number 2, former gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams says she plans to continue the fight for voters, but as a private citizen. Abrams announced the creation of Fair Fight Georgia, a group through which she'll file a federal lawsuit against the state of Georgia over the election.
This was a gross mismanagement, that there was something inherently flawed in how our elections were being held. And we, over the course of a week, got 4 different federal judges to agree that there are deep systemic flaws in our system. That means that there's something wrong.
We asked Abrams if she plans to run for another public office in the future. She says she hasn't decided on that, but right now she plans to stay engaged in politics. And number 3, Governor-elect Brian Kemp says he is ready to get to work and build on the progress of Governors Nathan Deal and Sonny Perdue. Some of the areas he's focused on: cutting taxes, health care, especially in rural communities, fully funding public education, and cutting regulations to build business in the state. Kemp says it's time to put aside divisive politics.
Together, we will realize the opportunities and tackle the challenges that we have before us. We will be a state that puts hard-working Georgians first, no matter what their zip code or where they live.
And Kemp already looking far into the future, saying he wants to get in office, get to work, and give voters a reason to vote for him once again in 2022. Now, he will take office in mid-January, and he's already prepping for that. In fact, we'll hear from him tomorrow morning when he announces his transition team.
All right, Jay Bell, thanks a lot. California wildfires, Florida elections, and Thanksgiving travel. It's time for your speed feed. In Northern California, the devastation left behind the Camp Fire is staggering. President Trump toured the area this weekend.
This is very sad to see. As far as the lives are concerned, nobody knows quite yet. We're up to a certain number, but we have a lot of people that aren't accounted for.
The fire has killed at least 75 people. More than 1,000 are still missing. President Trump is facing a diplomatic dilemma after the CIA concluded the Saudi Crown Prince ordered the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The Saudi leader has denied any involvement in his death. The president won't say what he'll do if the Crown Prince in fact lied to him. The U.S. has already sanctioned 17 Saudi officials involved in the killing. Florida's tight Senate race is over. Incumbent Democratic Senator Bill Nelson conceded to Republican Rick Scott, Florida's outgoing governor. The state's recount ended today, showing Nelson trading Scott by more than 10,000 votes out of 8 million cast. More than 1.5 million Georgians will be traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday, and if you're flying, be prepared. Tuesday and Wednesday will be the busiest day at the airport. If you're driving, here's something to be thankful for. The average price for a gallon of regular gasoline dropped 12 cents in the past 2 weeks.
All right, thanks a lot, Ron. Thanksgiving, it is pies, turkey, and cranberry sauce. But it can also be family arguments, traveling, and stress. And while it's not unusual for holidays to be less than harmonious, Hope Forward shows us how things can occasionally go dangerously too far.
Alcohol, emotional or financial stress, mental illness, guns. These are factors that play into a thankful holiday turning into a deadly one. The National Highway Safety Administration reports over 528 people died in crashes in 2017 during the Thanksgiving holiday because of drunk driving, lack of seatbelt, speeding, and using cell phones. 95 people were shot on Thanksgiving in 2017, either intentionally or accidentally. And then there's family-related violence. In 2009, Ayelis Oliver shot his son to death after the two argued all day over his son refusing to do chores and then refusing to leave his father's home. In 2012, Shanika Alsup allegedly stabbed her half-brother with a serving fork because an argument got heated. And that same year, a Trivial Pursuit game turned not so trivial when two players got into an argument over a question and one of them brought out a hatchet. Police later found out the hatchet was actually a piece of drug paraphernalia, but still, things escalated quickly. So you're probably wondering why we're telling you all of this. Just as a reminder, even if your family is annoying you this holiday season, it can always be worse. Much, much worse.
So the big takeaway here, don't let your family stress you out over the holidays, and you can read more on what to do on our website.